days, I will wake up in 1999 and relive the past 23 years. Part 1. I'm trapped in a perpetual horror, a Groundhog Day of seismic proportions. The world feels a little grislier with every reset. I've always known that some sort of higher power must be the architect of my eternal torture. What other explanation could there be? But I no longer simply know of that power. I've seen it. Let me rewind. I'm used to doing that after all. I don't know how many times I've relived the past 2 decades. Enough times to slowly go insane. I've done some crazy shit in a manic attempt to break free. I actually thought I could end the cycle by altering the course of the future. During the present iteration, I haven't really bothered. I'm tired. So you're experiencing the natural course of events, I suppose. In the past, however, I've shaken things up. Let's just say there was an iteration in which I invested wisely. I became a billionaire and used my riches to change the landscape of the world. I even paid extraordinary amounts of money to scientists who promised that they could uncover the secrets of the universe. I thought that they could fix whatever had happened to me. The problem is that they never truly believed my story. They didn't really try to understand how a time loop would work, so their research was half-hearted. Nobody has ever been able to save me. And before anybody asks, death is not the answer. It just resets the loop. I find myself waking on the morning of December 31st, 1999. I celebrate the commencement of a new millennium with my family, and we admire the fireworks. At this point, of course, I've probably lived for a millennium. The horror of waking in my 13-year-old body with a 36-year-old mind never fades. Well, I suppose I'm probably 3,600 years old, but who knows? I'm certainly not counting. But I always detest reliving my teenage years. I pretend to be a normal child and blend in with my peers. I strive to not say things that would reveal my dull mind. One of the scariest aspects of my existence is the possibility of accidentally revealing secrets about the future. That's really created problems before. In one horrifying iteration, the knowledge of my prophetic ability led the British government to conduct torturous experiments on me. But a few months later, after the first reset, I actually decided to seize the opportunity to make better decisions. Maybe it's a second chance, I decided. I took care of my health. I married the same girl, but I was a better husband and managed to prevent a divorce. I spent more time with our kids. I was a better version of myself. As December 31st of 2022 approached for the second time, I thought I'd done what the universe wanted me to do. You can imagine my unbridled terror when the loop reset. And that's when the penny dropped. I'm stuck. Madness ensued. 4 resets later, I tried killing myself. That didn't work. I tried hundreds of times in hundreds of ways. No luck. So, I've given up and resigned myself to this nightmarish existence. Well, perhaps giving up wouldn't be entirely accurate. During every fresh iteration, I do try something new to break the cycle. This time, I posted about my experience on Reddit. I might pretend to have lost hope, but actions speak louder than words. I mean, I have to be honest, I've never gone completely wild. I've never completely ruined my life. I've stripped naked and run through a local park, but I've never, say, robbed a bank. I can't sabotage my reputation. What if the loop is ended? Every time I reach December of this year, I start to wonder that. It's what keeps me from entirely unhinging and doing something foolish. I don't want to endure this infinite torture. I guess I still believe that I can break free of the cycle. I believe in January 1st, 2023. I'm sure all of you will see it. Surely when that day arrives, I'll have discovered a way to move beyond the loop. Eventually I have to make it to the next year, right? What's the alternative? I can't seem to die, after all. Well, that's what I used to believe. After a certain number of resets, I began to notice something disquieting. It started during one particular December of 2022, and it always begins during this final pre-reset month. Something is watching me. I might stroll down the road and catch glimpses of something in my peripheral vision. On street corners, I've seen a man with eyes that has no pupils. That's not all. I've heard things that other people say they can't hear. There are shushing noises with no sources. I wake in the night, bathing in a pool of sweat, assured that I've spotted glassy pinpricks in the darkness. Sometimes they rapidly vanish, as if the thing has closed its eyelids to avoid detection. Other times, the eyes linger, hovering in front of me. He seems to be getting bolder, closer. Last week, I visited an art gallery and I saw a terrifying painting. My wife and friends commented on its beauty. Boundless beauty, my wife said. They frowned at my gaunt complexion, and one friend called me a wimp. I suppose it would seem like an odd reaction. After all, the painting depicted an ordinary man. But my eyes strolled down the uncanny valley, gazing at his dreadful face. Something about him was marginally off. And for the briefest moment, the gallery light caught his painted eyes in such a way that the pupils disappeared. I found myself staring into the vacant eyes from the various street corners in my darkened bedroom. They were boring into my skull. I whimpered in terror. I've been to that art exhibit in every iteration of this time loop. On December 10th, 2022, my wife and friends always drag me to it. And I'm certain that painting wasn't there in any of the previous iterations. In that exact spot, there had been a painting of Big Ben proudly displaying 11 o'clock. That means things are changing. And I don't think they're changing for the better. I've considered letting go. My fight is fading. Perhaps I should embrace this entity with open arms. Perhaps it has come to release me from this nightmare. It could offer a finite death and put an end to the loop. But what if it delivers a worse fate? Every time I see the glassy-eyed man, I feel my chest coil into a clove hitch. He isn't good. He isn't trying to save me. I need to figure out how to reach January 1st, 2023.